At the edge of the village, tucked next to an orchard full of pink apple blossoms, lives the old clockmaker in his cozy little cottage. He built his daughter with his own 2 hands, full of love, from polished brass and clear glass. Every morning, he turns the small silver key at the back of her neck to wake her up, and hundreds of tiny gears inside her chest turn soft and steady, with a quiet tick-tock sound. But she does not feel time the way other people do. She never notices when her strawberry milk grows cold, even when her father draws pictures of suns, clouds, and seasons, trying to help her understand what time is. At the center of the village stands a tall stone clock tower that keeps time for everyone who lives there. When its bells chime at noon, all the families know it is time to take their warm soup off the stove. When it chimes 3 o'clock, all the children know it is time to run outside and play. Once every month, the clockmaker climbs the tower stairs to make sure all of its gears run smoothly. One cool autumn day, soft wind blows piles of golden maple leaves across the village square, and a pile of dry leaves drifts right through the open window at the very top of the clock tower. The leaves get caught in the largest gear of the tower, and a thin crack slowly spreads across its polished surface. The big cock hands slow down and stop completely at 17 minutes past 3. The second the clock stops, the whole village freezes, as if someone pressed pause. A butterfly hangs still in the air in front of freckled village girl. The village ice cream seller stands perfectly still, with not a single drop of ice cream dripping from his cone. The fluffy tan corgi is frozen mid-wag, with one paw held just above a pile of leaves. And the elderly village grandmother is frozen mid-motion as she tucks a warm scarf around her 3-year-old grandson's neck. Back at home, the elderly clockmaker is frozen mid-smile, holding out a honey cookie to give to his daughter. Only the clockmaker's daughter can move. She blinks slowly and looks around in confusion before she walks slowly down the quiet, still cobblestone streets of the frozen village. She passes a half-finished, bright chalk rainbow that children had been drawing that afternoon, and the work desk where her father had been carving tiny wooden toy bears for the village children. She knows she is the only one who can fix what is broken, so she begins to climb the long, winding stairs to the top of the clock tower. When she reaches the top, she looks through the box of spare gears, but none of them are the right size to replace the cracked part. She rests her hand on her own brass chest and feels her largest main gear turning steadily inside. The small, round brass access door on her chest slowly swings open, and she carefully lifts her large, well-loved main gear out of her chest. She fits the gear perfectly into the cracked, empty slot inside the clock tower mechanism. The gear clicks softly into place, and warm, golden light spreads out from the tower mechanism. The clock hands on the face of the tower begin to turn steadily once more, and ripples of warm, golden light spread across the whole village as the tower bell rings its first soft chime. Life slowly returns to every corner of the village. Freckled village girl unfreezes first, laughing as she runs after the fluttering yellow butterfly. A single drop of strawberry ice cream drips softly onto the village ice cream seller's gloved hand, and the fluffy tan corgi steps into the pile of leaves, wagging his tail so hard his whole body wiggles. Elderly village grandmother finishes tucking the warm scarf around her 3-year-old grandson's neck, and he grins up at her happily. Back at home, elderly clockmaker blinks and hands the honey cookie to clockmaker's daughter. He reaches to turn the silver key on the back of her neck, as he always does, before he pauses in surprise. She no longer needs to be wound. Dozens of tiny, new, sparkling golden gears have grown inside her chest, turning all on their own. That evening, warm golden hour sunset light spreads over the apple orchard next to their cottage. Elderly Clockmaker and Clockmaker's daughter sit side by side on their wooden porch steps, watching the sun go down. Soft pink apple blossom petals drift through the cool evening air and land softly on her copper pigtails. She takes a small bite of her honey cookie, and a soft, happy smile spreads across her polished brass cheeks. Far across the village, the stone clock tower glows with warm light at dusk, and tiny glowing fireflies float slowly around its stone walls. Her father wraps his warm, work-worn hand around her polished brass hand as they watch the last of the sun sink below the tree line. All over the village, life carries on as it always has. Elderly village grandmother and her little grandson stop to give the fluffy tan corgi a gentle pat on the head, and the village ice cream seller gives freckled village girl a free strawberry ice cream cone just for fun. Sometimes, when she climbs the tower to perform small maintenance checks, she touches the big gear she gave to the village and feels its soft, steady tick under her palm. Now that she can feel time just like everyone else, she loves to run and play with freckled village girl and the fluffy tan corgi under the blooming apple trees on warm spring days. She used to think time was only made of brass gears and tick-tocks. Now she knows the very best way to count time is to count all of your little moments full of love.
Thank you for spending this moment with us. Subscribe to Nightwind Tales for more stories filled with wisdom, wonder, and heart. Another tale is waiting just beyond the wind.